to make a video regarding the transit and entry requirements for Spain, because I think there are people who normally pass Spain from various destinations. So I think it is wise today I do a video regarding Spain. So sit on standby as I navigate to enter through my other channel so that we can learn together regarding Spain. And I'm doing this because I have ever offloaded passages or rerouted passages. Yeah, when we have such cases, we request our our ticketing officer to reroute. But I don't want you to be rerouted. I want you to have the right documentation when you are going to travel to Spain. Because remember, you can try to reroute sometimes in the airport, wherever you are traveling from, and there is no availability in another route. So it is always good to know whether you need a visa or not to transit or even to enter. I'm trying to connect here. So sit on standby as I take you through the requirements so that you can make your decision on whether you are going to buy a ticket via that route. Sometimes the travel agent can sell a ticket via that route, maybe because they don't know whether you need a visa or not to transit. Because, for example, now, most people need a visa even to pass through Spain, even when you are not entering. So be very careful when you are buying a ticket via Spain if you don't have a Spanish visa. Because most people, especially visa nationals, they will need a visa to transit, to pass through. Transiting means passing through. Yes, let me navigate something here and then there's something I'm trying to do here. And then I start my topic. Very important topic. It will be very brief. I will not do a very lengthy one. Don't think there is a need to do a very lengthy one. Hello, the bird. Thank you for coming. Please like this video. Watch it fully. You can help your brother or your sister or your colleague who wants to travel through Spain. Because as I keep teaching you, my students, and you are very good students, by the way, keep up. Rules can change anytime. So always update yourself when you are traveling, because maybe next year, another thing will come up. Changes keep happening. Always inquire. And the best place to inquire is the embassy in your country. You can email the embassy, because remember, the embassy addresses are normally online. You can go and check in Google the embassy, the email address for Spain. Yes. And check whether you need a transit visa. Yes. For example, if you're in your country and you have a Spanish embassy, and if you don't have a Spanish embassy, the email addresses are normally online. So for any information, because things can change, what was happening last year in Spain is not what is happening today. For example, Kenyans never needed a visa to go via Spain. Someone could buy a ticket from Nairobi. For example, let me give an example. Maybe Nairobi. What else? For example, let me give an example. But now we don't have a direct flight via Spain. We don't have a direct flight via Spain, by the way. From Nairobi to Spain, there is no direct flight. You can only go via France, or maybe via Germany, or maybe via Brussels. Yes, so that way you are going to have a Schengen visa anyway. Because if you go through another Schengen country to go to Spain, you must have a Schengen visa. But now things are changing for Spain transit. Things are changing for Spanish transit. And I want to take you through the Spanish entry requirements so that you can learn. And do not forget to like the video, please. Like the video, darlings. Yeah. So that you can so that you can make YouTube to share it with other people. So what are the requirements for going to Spain? Because I know there are people who want to go and visit Spain. What are the requirements? Grace, thank you so much for liking. Thank you so much for the likes. Please keep liking. Subscribe to my channel. Yeah. And for the entry requirements, they depend on your nationality. Yes, the purpose of visit and how long you plan to stay. So there are some people who do not need a visa to Spain. For example, European passports. For example, US passport, Canadian, Australian, all those strong passports do not need a visa, but there are some specific requirements that they must also have to visit Spain. Yes. So here are some of the general entry requirements for Spain. We know that Spain is in the Schengen territory. Spain is in Schengen and in the EU. It is in European Union and also in Schengen. It is in the EU. So it is in Europe and also in EU. Yes. So people normally visit for tourism, business, or family visit. It could be either of those. And the general requirements, you have to enter via an authorized border crossing point. Yes, that is very key. You have to enter via authorized border crossing point. I think that is good to know. And then you have to have a valid visa if required. For example, most Africans, I think all, I said all, most Africans require a visa to enter Spain. For example, Kenyans, Ugandans, Nigerians, Tanzanians, etc., they require a visa. And whether you require a visa or not, you can check in their website, in their government website, or you can email the embassy. Yes, the Spanish embassy in your country, and they are going to answer you. And then you have to prove the purpose and conditions of your stay. The condition of your stay and the purpose. And you have to have an accommodation. You could either be hosted by someone or have a hotel booking to show that you have got accommodation. And you have to show that you have sufficient financial means for your stay. For financial means, by the way, this is key in very many countries. Before you plan to apply for visas in these European countries, or even in US or Canada, or in these big countries, proof of sufficient funds is very important. Have some very legit proof. Maybe in your bank, maybe in your money market fund. Some people have got SACCOs and other proof of funds. So that is very important. Because remember, you can get a visa in your country for Spain, but when you are entering the immigration control in Spain, you get denied entry. I have ever seen people going to Schengen territory to visit countries in Europe or in Schengen, and then they are returned at the point of entry. It can happen. So be equipped so that even after getting the visa, at the point of entry, whatever you said in the embassy will tally, and you are going to have your proof of sufficient funds. That is very important. Whether you come from a visa national country or you don't need a visa, all of you need a proof of accommodation and proof of sufficient funds. Very important. Yeah, and you have to show it to those immigration officers at the point of entry. And you should not be subject to an entry ban or considered a threat to public order or security or health. You shouldn't be a threat to the security in that country, or a threat to that or to the health of that country. And because there are some countries that are banned to enter Spain, if you're in that, if you belong to such a country, don't even apply for a visa. Yes, and you can always recheck in their website, in the government websites, to get legit information. And as I keep saying, rules can change today and tomorrow. They change, right? For now, they are changing every day. So for now, in 2025, That is what I'm doing, giving you the information regarding 2025. Because there are some things that will change in 2026 or even 2027 continuing. Keep updating yourself. Before you, by the way, you apply for a visa to any country, consult someone who knows regarding travel requirements, or you consult the government website, or email that embassy. Yes. And sometimes, when you are going to visit countries, sometimes they can require for you to have a emergency medical or whatever, travel insurance, not emergency medical insurance. You can be required to have insurance in case of any emergency medical cost. So a health insurance or a travel insurance sometimes is necessary. It's good to have a travel insurance. You know, when you have some of these things, you look more legit, by the way. And travel insurance are not very expensive. You can check online for the best offers. I'm not an insurance agent, by the way, but I see people having the insurances, the insurances when they are traveling. So that one is also important, so that you can have an easy time, by the way. Yes. And the travel, by the way, insurance mostly is 30,000 euros, because in Spain they use euros, by the way. That is important to know, because I normally say when you prepare to travel, please, it's better you have more things than required than having less things and then you get frustrated at the point of entry. Yes. And also ensure that your passport validity is okay. In Spain and in most Schengen territories, by the way, for now, because it can change, for now, and it has been there for a long time. By the way, since I started checking travel documents, the passport validity has been the same till today, but it can change in future. But for now, it is 3 months beyond your planned exit date from Spain or from Schengen, because all the Schengen territories, by the way, have got the same document validity rule for the passport. Let me give an example. For example, I'm going to visit Spain now from my country, and my passport is expiring in August. That passport cannot go, because now you see it is almost expiring. So it must have a 3 months validity beyond my stay in Spain. Example, if I was going to visit Spain and exit in December, let us say December 30th, or let us say 31st of December 2025. So that is when I'm going to exit from Spain. My passport must be valid for a minimum of 3 months beyond 31st of December. So it should be at least up to January, from December to January to February to March 2026. So it should be it should be valid up to 31st of March 2026 and or beyond. If it have a 1 year validity from now, you are okay to go, as long as it will be valid for 3 months beyond your stay in Spain. And that is why I keep advising that if your passport is expiring within 1 year from now, please consult before you fly. If your passport is expiring 1 year from now, please consult, so that someone can advise you when they check your ticket. Yeah, the period of stay or the duration of stay in the Schengen territory or in Spain. And the passport should not be issued more than 10 years before. But good enough, most passports are issued for 10 years. That one I think is not a problem. Most passports are issued for 10 years. So, for Kenyans, remember, Kenyans need a visa to visit Spain. Yes. And since January 20th of January 2024, Kenyans will need a transit visa for Spain, even if they are not entering. You shall need a visa to transit Spain. It is normally called a direct airside transit visa. Yeah, you shall need a visa to transit Spain. So keep checking in the website. You can check in the website whether you need a visa to transit Spain, even when you are not entering. But good enough, when you are coming from Kenya, when you are traveling from Kenya, we don't have a direct flight to Spain, you should be using either Lufthansa Airlines or maybe Air France or maybe Brussels Airlines, because those are nice flights to go to Europe, to transit to, or maybe Kenya Airways to Paris. We have got a Kenya Airways to Amsterdam. We have got KLM to Amsterdam. So in this case, you should be having a Schengen visa. And if you have any Schengen visa, it can allow you to transit Spain. That one, you're not going to have a problem. Yes. So, and remember, we have got different rules regarding those Schengen visas, by the way. We have got different rules regarding those Schengen visas. Because remember, all those countries that I've mentioned. For example, KLM goes to Amsterdam. Amsterdam is in Schengen. France is in Schengen. Germany is in Schengen. Even Belgium. So mostly when you are transferring through those destinations, you are going to have a visa, a Schengen visa. But because of the new rules, please consult whether you need a visa. Whether you need a visa to go via Spain. Please consult, by the way. Because I've seen people coming to the airport without a transit visa for Spain, and then they are stuck. If, for example, there is no another available flight where you can be helped, you can get stuck in the airport. More so during the high seasons. So please consult a lot. You can call the embassy directly, by the way. You can call the embassy, and remember the contact for the embassy is normally put their to contact online, and they answer to the calls. But the best method of communication is emailing. You can email the Spanish embassy. Yeah. So those are some of the requirements. Yeah, those are some of the requirements that you should have when you are transiting through Spain. Let me take a break, and you can ask a question. You can post a question there, by the way, so that I can answer you, and we continue, darlings. Thank you for coming. Like the video, subscribe, share to many, and then we can move together. So this rule for the Kenyans changed in 2024, January 20th, in year 2024, last year, the year 2024, January 20. So Kenyans could transit before, could transit Spain before, but for now, even when they are transiting without entering, they shall need a airport transit visa, by the way. So that one is good to note, and please check with the embassy, and you can check in their website or call them or email them. Yeah. Ed, when you are transiting through Spain, you must have a proof of onward ticket. Always have everything when you are transiting through that country, by the way. Show that you are going to transit and you have got your onward ticket, showing that you are going to the other destination. Yes. That is very good to note. So, I keep saying that rules can change. You saw there were changes in the US when Trump came into administration. Things can change, by the way. There are even some countries that were banned from entering the US. For Spain, inquires a lot before you fly, whether your country lies under the nationalities who need a visa to transit, not even to enter, to transit. Yes, ensure that you inquire before you buy a ticket, because sometimes the ticketing agents normally don't have the information, normally do not know whether you need a visa or not. And before your flight, double check. You can double check in the website, you can double check online, you can call someone and ask whether you need a visa to transit or not. So for Spain, it is not very difficult. If you are visa national, you shall need a Spanish Schengen visa, type C, if you are visiting. If you are visiting, you shall need a Spanish Schengen visa type C. But if you are going for work, for marriage, for what else? Work, marriage, or education, for long stay, you shall apply for a Spanish national visa type D. D for dog. So that one is different. When you are entering Spain to go to study, to marry, not to get married maybe, or to work, you shall need a long stay national visa code type D. So even if you are coming from the US, because US do not need a visa, or you are coming maybe from Canada or Japan, because those countries don't need a visa to Spain, Most of the strong countries can enter Spain without a visa. For example, Mexico, by the way, the Mexican passport can also enter many countries in Europe, including the UK, without a visa. But you have to check very properly that they are that they have a genuine passport and they are the rightful owners of that passport. So even for them, because they are not European, Japan is not European, but they can enter Spain without a visa. Mexico, US, Canada, they can enter Spain without a visa. The document validity remains the same. Your passport must be valid for 3 months beyond the period of your intended stay in Spain. That is the same, by the way. So let us be very careful before we fly and ensure that we meet all the entry requirements or the transit requirements for that country. And you remember, you can see like the UK, they imposed the ETA for the non-visa nationals. They imposed an ETA for the non-visa nationals. And even now for the visa nationals who are going to the UK, for example, African passports, they have gone digital. They have gone digital. Now when you apply for the visa, they give you an online visa. They are no longer issuing the sticker visas on the passports, not unless otherwise. Nowadays they are issuing e-visas, and I've seen them in the airport. But when we are verifying that, we have to be very careful. Yes, because people can misuse that. We have to be very careful. Yeah. So if Paris Life High, thank you so much for coming. How are you? Oh, God bless you so much, Paris, for coming. God bless you. So even Spain, they are going to introduce, they are going to roll out something for, but not now. That one is just, I'm just preparing you that they are going to roll out something called the ETIAS. That one is also a travel authorization, like the way the UK imposed a travel authorization for the non-visa nationals. So even Spain, after 2025, maybe in 2026 or 2027, they are going to introduce the ETIAS. ETIAS. It is, let us call it the ETIAS. It's a travel authorization. Yeah. And the EU ETIAS will start after 2025. It's not, yeah, thank you for the like, Paris. God bless you. It is not yet, it have not yet started to be in use, but they are going to introduce it after this year, maybe in 2026 or 2027. So let us wait for that. Yeah, thank you so much, Paris, for the hearts. God bless you so much, my great supporter. Thank you. I'll do a very short one, Paris, and then I'm gonna quit. Thank you so much. So that is not going to be a long one because it is only regarding Spain. So if you are visa national, check whether you need a transit visa for Spain. Transit is different from entry. Transit means you are passing through Spain to go to another country. Kindly double check, yeah, before you reach the airport and then you are frustrated, because it can happen. Yeah. And by the way, we also have the EES. They are introducing the EES, the Entry Exit Systems Biometric. Yeah, the Entry Exit System Biometrics from 12th of October 2025. So the European Union, because remember Spain is in the European Union, it is in Schengen and the EU. So from 12th of October 2025, the EU begins rolling out the EES. Yeah, this one is something biometric because rules keep changing, by the way. So they are going to take the passport biodata, the fingerprints, and the photo captured at entry. When you're entering Spain, they are going to capture your photo at entry. Things are getting tight. And this one will be phased in over several months. When they impose something, even the UK, when they impose the ETA, the electronic travel authorization, it is still being phased in. It is still being implemented, and that is why you can see now you can be allowed to travel even if you don't have the ETA for UK, the electronic travel authorization, because they are still phasing it in. It can take a long time. Maybe they are going to fully implement it in 2026. We don't know. When they give us the dates, I'll come and update you. Because anyway, I work for a UK flight. I'm not going to say where. Don't ask me where. But I've handled many flights to Europe anyway. This one is just a flight that I'm handling now. But I have handled flights to Germany. A flight to Germany, not flights because to Germany it is a flight. A flight, I will not mention the name. I have handled a flight to France, a flight to Belgium, a flight to Switzerland. And that is why I know all the rules regarding Europe, regarding US, regarding wherever. So that is something that is going to happen. Yeah, the EES, but it is going to start on 12th of October 2025. And this one changes how border checks are done. Yes, it is going to change how the border checks are done. So when you're entering that country now, it is going to be, they are going to check your details digitally, which is more efficient than the physical one. So for the COVID-19 rules, you no longer need to have a COVID certificate. Formerly, you needed a vaccine for COVID, but now you don't need. Yeah, that one is not required for now, so don't worry regarding that. Yeah. And the document that the officers at the point of, the documents that the officers at the port of entry can check. Yeah, these are some of the documents that you must have. Have them handy when you are entering Spain. After getting your visa and now you are entering Spain. Return or onward ticket. Never forget the return ticket. Never buy a one-way ticket to any country if you are visiting. Because at the border control, at the port of entry, they can suspect that maybe you are entering there too for other reasons. Maybe to do an overstay or something. So please have your confirmed return or onward ticket. That one is very important. What else do you need? Proof of sufficient funds. This one I'm just like recapping because I told you regarding the sufficient funds. And that one is to any country you are visiting, by the way. When you are visiting any country other than your country, have a proof of sufficient funds. Yes. And then travel insurance is highly recommended, by the way. Have a travel insurance. You can buy a travel insurance, by the way, to make your life easier. Always have your invitation letters, your conference bookings. Some people forget such things. Invitation letters are very important because maybe it is someone who have invited you from Spain. Don't forget that invitation in your soft copy and hard copy. Why the hard copy? Because your phone can go off. Have 2 copies in your hand. Put very well in a very nice folder. Stored very nicely in a very nice folder. Don't forget that. Yes. Because if the authorities suspect your intentions to overstay or lack of funds, they are going to deny you entry, even if you have a visa. And I have seen that. People trying to enter the country, maybe Switzerland, maybe France or wherever, and they are brought back. It has happened. Because formerly I worked for a French flight, I worked for a German flight, I worked for a Belgian flight, I've ever worked for a Swiss flight, by the way. So those things I'm telling you is what I've done. And I have seen happening. Yeah. So that I think is not a bad one. Check whether your passport is valid for the period check whether your passport have got a long validity. If your passport is expiring in 1 year, please double check whether you can travel. Yeah, because I told you for Spain and all the countries in Schengen for now, because rules can change tomorrow, it is 3 months beyond the period of intended stay. Have the right documents, have the right intention of your heart, never lie to an immigration officer, yes, for any reason. There was someone who was telling me the other day that they did a fake marriage so that they could go and live in the UK. And I was like, I can never do that. Never do that, by the way. Imagine, let me ask you something. If you do something fake and then you get your way through, after this life on earth, what are you going to tell God later? When you go and settle in a country because you cheated, you did a fake marriage, what will happen later? Because now how will you repent? And now you already, okay, I don't even know what I can say, because if you migrated somewhere wrongly, and you are in that country wrongly, but anyway you have the papers, when you are going to pray to God, how do you pray? Do you repent? Because now when you repent, you are supposed to go back to your country where you came from. You are supposed to go and surrender to the authority and say, I cheated when coming here and I have repented, take me back to my country. Don't immigrate illegally at any cost. And I'm saying this because of what? Yes, I'm a born-again Christian. I fear God and I'm a document checker. And I know integrity is key in everything. Never do a fake marriage, by the way. It might not be good or kind to you, but later you are going to thank me. Be right. For example, there are people who cheat on their ears. Yeah, you are born in 1985, you cheat that you are born in 1990. How can you repent that sin and your documents show that? Not show, sorry for shrubbing. Your documents show that you are born in 1990, but in the real sense, you are born in 1985. How will God treat that, by the way? So please don't lie regarding your date of birth. By the way, don't lie regarding don't go to any country illegally, by the way. Do not do fake marriages. Go and visit Spain and come out at the right time. Yes. Me, I normally say if I want to travel to a country, I'll go there legally. For example, if I want to go to Canada, I'll prepare myself, have the right documents. I can do a course. You can do a nice course, by the way. You can do a nursing course. You can do a caregiver course. And then you apply for a job online. Genuinely, by the way. And you travel. I have cleared people who normally tell me they applied online, which is possible. It's possible to apply and get a visa. So that one was just a by the way. It's just an advice. Don't die to travel. Don't have the urge to travel until you commit a crime or sin. Don't sin, don't commit a crime. And remember, when you are traveling to any country, always recheck the requirements within 48 to 72 hours. Always recheck the requirements. Things can change abruptly. By then, there was a time I was working for a flight to Turkey. Yeah. And that time, there was a political problem between Turkey and Canada. That one, I'm giving you a practical example. Yeah, there was a problem between Turkey and Canada politically. So Canadians could not enter Turkey without a visa. And the notice was very short. I will not say what happened because I cannot give you a lot of information regarding that, but there was a problem. But anyway, later it changed. It was many years ago, by the way. It was many years ago, but that rule later changed. Remember, something can happen between countries. Some countries normally have a rift because of political issues. And when there is no good diplomatic relationships, rules can change immediately. So before you fly, please recheck the requirements from 48 hours to 72 hours, whether there is anything that has changed. Because remember, if it changes and you fly to that country, you are not a criminal because you didn't know, but you are not going to be allowed to enter. Why? Because the rules have changed abruptly. Because maybe of political misunderstanding between the countries. Sometimes countries become enemies immediately. It can happen. So when you are entering the country and there is enmity, you are told to go back home and you have a visa. That is frustrating. So keep rechecking. You can ask, by the way, yeah, recheck. Ask any question, like the video, darlings. because you are my beloved. Don't come and don't just come and ignore liking the video. So I'm not gonna make it a long one. Nowadays I don't do very long, not unless otherwise, but mostly now because I'm sticking to my niche. When I'm teaching something regarding my niche, and my niche is regarding travel requirements, it is generally travel rules. Because some people ask me, do you issue visas? No, I don't issue visas. I teach regarding the travel requirements to various destinations, or the visa requirements. Why do I say travel requirements and visa requirements? Because some people don't need visas. Some only need to know the requirements to that country. Because even if you don't need a visa, there are some other requirements that you should have before you enter a country. And some people need a visa. Yes, for example, Kenyans needs a visa to go to. Kenyans need a visa to Spain. Ugandans need a visa to Spain. Nigerians need a visa to Spain. And that India needs a visa to Spain. And rules can change. Sometimes people can need a visa, and then sometime they can be removed from the visa requirements. But for now, that is what it is. That is what it is. And I'm not going to go on because I do not want to tire you with too much irrelevant information. What I've taught you is very important, is key. So for Kenyans, let me shout out to the Kenyans, because I know there are many people who view me from Kenya. When you are going via Spain, consult a lot, because they imposed a transit visa for Kenyans. Inquire a lot. You can even visit the Spanish embassy in your country, or you can email the embassy. Emailing is the best. Just write an email asking, I'm traveling via Spain. What do I need? Do I need a visa or not? Please inquire. Because Kenya was put to the list of the countries that require a visa to pass Spain, even if they are not entering. So that is good to know. So bye for now. See you later. Watch that video fully. Share with your friends, colleagues, relatives, and let's meet next time. Bye.